Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at a new weapons mounted light that I bought. Alright, so this is the OLIGHT PL-2 Valkyrie. And I purchased this actually to go on my CZ. But I also have my Glock out here, my Glock 19, just so you can get an idea of what that looks like. Also, you'll notice the advertised numbers on this light are pretty high, right? So 1200 lumens is really bright, and they claim a throw of 235 meters. So this would probably also be suitable for a rifle. So I have my AR in here as well, and we'll take a look at what it looks like on there. So now I purchased this from Amazon in a special deal that came with an extra set of batteries, so I've got those as well. So, nice box. It's made in China. So let's open it up and see what we've got inside the box. All right. So we've got the light. And it looks like some instructions, a user's manual. We've got a little Allen wrench. And then there's this tiny little guy right here. Ooh, with screws. Tiny little screws too. And I believe, yeah, it says right on it, 1913. So this would be for mounting to a 1913 rail. And it's got one mounted on it right now that says GL on it. And that would be for a Glock rail. So I believe the Glock rail, yeah, the slot is just a little bit narrower than a 1913 or a Picatinny rail. So if you look at those two, you'd see that the 1913 is a little wider. Okay, so the way it is right now, it should fit on that Glock. And then I would assume the Allen wrench is for changing those out. Instructions. Who needs instructions? All right. The light itself, it's not huge. I don't have a frame of reference because this is my first weapons mounted light, but it doesn't look enormous, so it's a pretty decent sized light. Again, you got the mount up here. There's a lever for locking it down to the rail. So hopefully you can see that right there. That would be locked. That would be unlocked. There's a single bulb inside here. And the lens is interesting. It's looks like it's engineered to really focus that beam. So we'll see how that works tonight. We'll take it outside in the dark and give it a try. There's two switches, one on either side. And the battery compartment, there's a lever here that says pull to open. So I'll pull that up, and that opens up the battery compartment on the back. And of course, they've got a little piece of plastic in there to keep the batteries from discharging until it's bought. So we can remove that. The batteries are CR123As, two of them. There is a gasket around here, so this light is, I don't know what the specifications are, but it's at the very least water resistant. And then to close it, just push it down and flip that down, and she's locked in place and sealed up. All right. Now the switches, my understanding is if you hold one down, it's momentary. So then when you release it, it turns off. And then if you just tap one, it's on. Tap it again to turn it off. And then if you hold both of them down, you get a strobe. All right. So let's see what it looks like on that Glock 19. So we're clear. All right. There's a little bit of a wiggle to it when it's locked in place, but it's definitely not coming off of there. So the switch on the trigger finger side is within reach of my trigger finger, although I wouldn't think you'd want to activate it with your trigger finger. And then with a normal thumbs forward grip, I would assume you would activate it with your thumb. Okay. Now, size-wise, just looking at it, you can see that it sticks out a considerable amount there. This is a Glock 19, so it probably, well, it definitely wouldn't stick out as far in a Glock 17. Okay. Width-wise, it's considerably wider than the gun itself. So you can see, you know, it's hard to get it on camera, but it does stick out on either side of the gun. Okay. Weight-wise, it's very light. It doesn't feel like it adds a whole heck of a lot of weight out there on the end of that, which is nice. I imagine this would require a rather odd holster with the barrel being that much further back away from the end of the light. All right. All right, so the gun I really want to put it on is the CZ. So I'll go ahead and swap that rail out. Well, here, before I do that, let's see. Because this is narrower, it should fit on the 1913 rail. But it might have some slop because that's narrower than the slots in the 1913 rail. So let's throw it on there and just see. Get it lined up with the right slot there. Oh, that's a lot more stable than on the Glock. And the Glock's got a plastic frame, so maybe that has something to do with it. But this, it really, even with the narrower Glock insert on there, it really locks into place well. There's no wiggle to that at all. As to size, this is a considerably larger gun than the Glock, and so the light does stick out, but not nearly as much. Maybe, I don't know, somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 inch. And of course, this gun is so heavy that you don't even notice that light's on there. It doesn't really feel that much different. Again, controls are within reach. And my microphone keeps dropping off my lapel. All right. So I'll go ahead and pull this off of here, and I'm going to swap out that rail piece, and then I'll be right back once I've got that done. Okay, so I've got that 1913 rail piece mounted on there, and let's fit it back up to the CZ. Yeah, it makes it a little bit tighter in that slot for sure. And it's just as locked down as it was with the other piece. So it's definitely not going anywhere on this gun. You really have to torque on it to get it to move, and even then it barely moves just a little bit. All right, so yeah, I like the way that fits on there. Again, it's wider than the gun itself. Maybe about 1/8 to 1/4 inch on either side of the gun. It sticks out. And again, lengthwise, it's like I said, about 1/4 to 1/2 inch longer than the end of the slide. So it's nice. It fits on there well. The controls are within my reach. It's going to be interesting. I've never shot with a weapons light, so having to activate the light while actuating the trigger on the gun and actually shooting, that's going to be interesting. But yeah, it's on there good. Now let's see what it'll look like on the AR. Because again, this is bright enough. and has a long enough throw that it would be suitable for use on a rifle. So let's clear a little bit of room here. Let's see if I can get my rifle up in here where we can see it. Okay, so there's the forearm, the quad rail on my AR. Let's go ahead and see if she'll mount up to it. It's a little bit looser on this rail than it was on the CZ, but it's definitely not coming off there. And yeah, I mean, it goes on there nice. Looks good. Now, as far as actuating it goes, there is no remote pad for this, or remote switch. So I would assume you could use your finger or if you have a more overhand grip, you could use your thumb. And of course, depending on where your hand is on the forearm, you could adjust the placement of this on the quad rail to put it more in line with where you like to put your hand, but it would certainly be serviceable. Probably not as convenient as having a remote switch that was mounted on the top of your quad rail or over here on the side of your quad rail, but still usable. And like I said, it's bright enough. It would probably be suitable for a rifle. And again, we'll test that out tonight. Yeah, so I mean, really nice light. Price-wise, it's extremely competitive with other lights on the market, especially when you look at its specifications. I think they say that the batteries in this will last somewhere around 2 hours. So you definitely want to carry some spares with you. Let's get rid of this rifle. But yeah, my intent again is to have this mounted on the CZ, and I do not intend to conceal carry it with the light because, as you can see, it won't go into the holster I've got. Okay, now I could get a concealed carry inside the waistband holster for this light. Red Hill Tactical, you can specify that. But it seems like it would be an awful lot to have down in my pants right there, so I think I'm probably not going to do that. But I would like to get a holster for this gun for outside the waistband, not concealed carry, but for a battle belt. So that's my intent. And I actually already have the holster on order for this light and gun combination. So I'll post a future video reviewing that, and we'll see how that actually works out. So yeah, for now, let's just fast forward to darkness. All right, so we're out in the dark. The dog's going nuts because I'm out here. And I'm about 100 and maybe 125 yards away from my backstop. Right next to a road with a car going by. And I've got two barrels set up in front of that backstop, a white one and a black one. So let's see if we can see them from here. Oh yeah. Yep, right there. It's definitely good out to 125 yards or so. We can just start moving in on them. And the focus on my camera is going to go crazy because it's raining. There we go. Yeah, so I don't know about 235 meters like they said, but I would say it's definitely possible. So we're probably about 75 yards out now. Yeah, it's a good, strong, focused beam, and it's definitely bright when you get close up. So right about here is a measured 25 meters. So it's darn good at 25 meters. But yeah, I mean, I could see them clear out at 100 yards. So I don't doubt their claims. And so here we are in the hallway in my house. So let's get an idea of what it looks like inside. And there's the cat. Probably don't want to shine it in her eyes. But it's not blinding. Definitely lights up the area. There's a lot of spill. All right, so that's the OLIGHT PL-2 Valkyrie. Great little light at a very reasonable price. Highly recommend it so far. As for the future, like I said, I do have our holster on order for this pistol and light combo, and I'm going to be putting together a whole battle belt setup, so stay tuned. Thanks for dropping by, and have a great day.